I went to my online boyfriend's city in secret, hoping to surprise him. By accident, I overheard him talking with his friends, so what if her voice sounds nice? She won't even send a picture, she's definitely ugly. If the campus belle hadn't rejected me, I wouldn't even bother flirting with someone like her. Ugly's one thing, but she's shameless too, keeps demanding to check the goods in advance. His friend snickered. So, did you show her? My online boyfriend gave a casual grunt. Not mine, Chris's. A shocked expletive followed. Your roommate? The one you said was at least 20 centimeters? Seriously? Of course it's true. Why would I lie to you? Chris is a real bro. He saw I didn't want to take a photo myself and volunteered to be my stand-in. The group paused, then burst into laughter. I laughed too, bitterly. I'd heard of hand doubles and leg doubles, this was my first time meeting a dating double. 3 minutes. That's all it took for me to decide, I wanted every bit of information on that man. I was supposed to be the perfect good girl. Gentle, frugal, polite, well-read. Optimistic, sunny, diligent, studious. Yeah, right. That was just the persona I played for my elders. The real me, rebellious, sharp-tongued, cunning, vindictive, and always hungry. Hungry in every sense. After the college entrance exam, I scrolled through handsome guys on my phone every day. Lean athletes, sunny puppy boys, cool ascetic upperclassmen, I liked and saved them all. The more I scrolled, the more my heart fluttered, the more restless I became. So I found myself an online boyfriend, a handsome one. Michael. A year older than me. A college student. Bare height 182 centimeters, perfect square shoulders, abs so firm they could be a washboard. Most importantly, he was 20. A specimen like that, and I'd run right into him. What a blessing. Even more surprising, Michael turned out to be a senior at my own school. It felt like fate itself had arranged it. But Michael didn't know yet. I hadn't told him, because I wanted to surprise him at the start of the semester. To keep the mystery, I hadn't sent him a single photo of my face. He wasn't happy about it, saying I wasn't sincere. His voice over the phone turned sulky and flat. He lived in a city just next to mine, less than half an hour by high-speed train. After thinking it over, I decided to go see him directly. Michael always reported everything to me to give me a sense of security, which saved me the trouble of prying. Following the map, I easily found the barbecue stall where they were sitting. Dozens of tables spilled out onto the street, but I spotted Michael instantly. In person, he was even more handsome than in his pictures. It was midsummer. Even the wind was hot, brushing my cheeks until they flushed redder still. I steadied my breath and started forward. Just in time to see Michael slap his glass on the table and sneer, so what if her voice sounds nice? She won't even send a picture, she's definitely ugly. My steps froze. The blush drained from my face like a receding tide. Then he added, it's just for fun. If the campus belle hadn't rejected me and I weren't so bored, I wouldn't even give her the time of day. Ugly's one thing, but she's shameless too, keeps making me send her photos. I bit my lip, fists clenching without thinking. He was the one who'd bragged about being big, asking if I wanted to see. Who wouldn't look if it was free? But now, somehow, he'd become the one forced into it. Voices egged him on. So you showed her? Michael made a proud little noise. Not mine, Chris's. More shocked expletives. Your roommate? The one you said was at least 20 centimeters? Seriously? Michael took a drag on his cigarette. Of course it's true. Why would I lie? Chris is a real bro. He saw I didn't want to take a photo myself and volunteered to be my stand-in. The table went silent for a beat, then erupted with laughter. Someone jeered, so this relationship looks like two people on the surface, but really it's two people and one, well. Another round of howls. Michael frowned. Relationship? At most it's just flirting. That girl's only fit to be my dog. As soon as summer break ends, I'm dumping that ugly B***tch. Hearing Michael say all this, I felt strangely numb. Because at that moment, all I could think about was that striking photo. What was his name again? Oh, right. Chris. On the train ride home, I opened Michael's social feed. But the guy was so self-absorbed he only ever posted pictures of himself. I sighed. Looks like if I want to know what Chris looks like, I'll have to wait until school starts. I felt a flicker of disappointment, then opened my phone and went back to scrolling handsome guys. Just as we were pulling into the station, a campus interview video popped up. Who's the heartthrob of your school? I wasn't interested and was about to swipe away, when I suddenly heard the name, Chris. The arrival chime sounded. I walked off the train, turning my earphones up. Listened several times, making sure I hadn't misheard. The school name matched too. I thought again of that photo, campus heartthrob Chris. Turns out he's pretty wild and private. As the new semester approached, Michael grew colder and colder. It took him days to reply to my messages. I ground my teeth. If he weren't still of use to me, I'd have deleted him long ago. That night, staring at the one-sided chat window, I sent him another sticker. This time Michael actually replied quickly, "Look, I don't think we're suitable. We can be friends, but as lovers, forget it." I was lying on my bed with a face mask on, one leg crossed over the other. My eyes lit up at the words. I'd been waiting for this day forever. I curled my lips into a smile and typed, "Why? Did I do something wrong?" Index fingers touching .jpg. Michael replied, "No, don't overthink. It's my problem." Silently, I rolled my eyes. The same tired scumbag script, no originality at all. After my inner grumbling, I put on my best tea act, big cry.jpg. "You don't need to comfort me. I know I'm not good enough for you. You deserve a better girl. I wish you happiness." Michael hesitated, his heart inexplicably twisting. A while later, he replied, "You're wonderful. Be confident in yourself, sweetie. It's me who's wronging you. If you have any requests, just tell me, I'll fulfill them." Excitement surged through me. I ripped off my face mask, sat up straight, and called him directly. When the call connected, I sniffled softly, adding a hint of tears to my voice. "You'll really agree to any request?" Michael answered solemnly, "Actually, I can guess. You're probably insecure about your looks. Don't worry, I don't care. If you want to meet me, I can come right now. I want you to introduce me to a new boyfriend." I cut him off. I didn't have the patience to listen to him ramble. Michael froze. 3 seconds later, he finally reacted. "Huh?" I sighed. "Michael, honestly, the moment I saw your photos, I knew we could never be together. You're so handsome, how could you like someone as ordinary as me? I'd be satisfied just being your friend." Michael, who'd been boiling with pride a second ago, instantly deflated at that. He felt flattered and guilty at the same time. Then he said, "Jessica, don't put yourself down. You're wonderful. I'll introduce you to my roommate right away. He's handsome too. Tons of girls at our school chase him, but he turns them all down," Michael added. "That shows he doesn't pick girlfriends for looks. Talk to him, maybe you two will hit it off." I stayed silent for a moment, then exhaled softly. "Okay. I'll give it a try." Trying to sound casual, I asked, "By the way, what's his name?" "Chris. His name is Chris." "Done." My eyes curved into a smile. I forced my excitement down and took a steadying breath. "All right, I'll add him on WeChat first. Give me a nudge, will you?" "Michael, thanks," I said. Michael smiled. "No problem. Don't forget, we're friends now." 10 minutes later, Chris and I were friends on WeChat. I couldn't wait to open his moments. Was he blocking me? His moments were empty, nothing at all. His avatar looked like a generic new account photo, almost like a bot. Michael wouldn't be messing with me, would he? Just as I was suspicious, a string of messages popped up in the chat. "Hi Jessica, I'm Chris. Michael said he wanted to introduce you to me as a girlfriend. Lately I've actually been thinking about dating. Maybe we could give it a try. However, I'm worried I'm not your type. I'll send some photos first, judge for yourself and then decide if you want to be with me." I bit my lip, and my finger slowly scrolled up. Squinting, I opened the pictures. The next second my pupils widened. If ordinary handsome guys made my cheeks flush and my heart race, then Chris's still photos alone were enough to make me dizzy and faint with delight. I kicked my legs on the bed in excitement. Then Michael messaged, "Chris is not exactly easy to get along with, he ignores people a lot, pretty cold. Don't be discouraged, be proactive." Huh? I stared at the abdominal shots Chris had just sent. Cold and aloof? To me, he looked like a peacock about to spread his tail. I cradled my phone and saved each of Chris's handsome photos into my album, forgetting to reply. Chris couldn't sit still. "Don't like them?" he asked. "Maybe the angles weren't right, and people say I look better in real life. How about we meet? I'll come find you," I typed. I raised an eyebrow. "So eager, huh?" I'd seen online romances escalate fast, some even met up the first day. But I wasn't mentally ready for that. Lost in thought, my finger accidentally tapped his hidden album. One photo. Ahem. Face a little flushed. Mouth a little dry. I poured myself a cup of ice water to cool down. "No, I don't dislike them, you're handsome. As for meeting, there's no need to rush. Actually, we're sort of alumni. I just got accepted to your university. The semester starts in a few days so we'll meet then," he replied. The message sent and the chat went quiet for a moment. My phone buzzed shortly after. I cleared my throat and hit the call button. "Hello?" I said. A low, languid voice flowed through the earpiece. "Hey, I'm Chris." My heart skipped. I touched my warming earlobe and replied softly, "I know." "So, does this mean we're boyfriend and girlfriend now?" he asked. I countered, "But you still don't know what I look like." What if I'm ugly, would you mind? Chris responded with absolute certainty, I wouldn't. My cheeks puffed out in embarrassed disbelief. Michael had said the same thing, and then complained about me behind my back. I fell silent. Chris spoke slowly, Jessica, I don't want to lie to you. Actually, I've seen you before. Seen me? Where? Chris was so handsome, there's no way I wouldn't remember. My mind scrambled for a clue. Then Chris added, the reason I wanted to confirm a relationship quickly is because I knew you went to Shanghai a while back. I guessed you were there to find Michael. I was baffled. He doesn't even know I went to see him. How do you know that? Chris was quiet for a beat, then said under his breath, because he's been posting all over the internet trying to find you. Chris sent a link. I frowned and opened it. A slightly blurry photo appeared, me in a taxi, my temple against the cold glass, neon smears painting the side of my face. There was a lonely kind of beauty to it. The caption read, 100K emergency, online rescue mission. Location, Shanghai. Night of the 7th, Mayflower barbecue. Spotted a seriously heart-stopping girl. I really like her. I tried to chase but couldn't catch up. Please, internet heroes, help, if you connect us, I'll owe you big time. I burst out laughing at the last line. I glanced at the calendar, 1 week until school started. What a thing to look forward to. I turned over and cuddled my phone, savoring Chris's photos. Compared to Michael's desperate online fishing, I was more curious, when exactly had Chris seen me? It was as if he read my thoughts. Before I could ask, he explained. I was also at that Model UN for Youth in Hong Kong 3 years ago. You were one aisle over from me. My ears perked. I turned the volume up and pressed the phone to my ear. So it was the Youth Model UN in Hong Kong. That's where we'd crossed paths, what a coincidence. Only once had I attended that event, and I'd been noticed by Chris. So, he fell for me at first sight. I smiled to myself, basking in the sweetness, until Chris said, you were probably starving back then, you ate 3 pineapple buns in a row. Ugh, could someone please poison his voice so he shuts up? The drama series script was right there for him to follow, yet of all things, he fixated on how many pineapple buns I'd eaten. Did he even still want to date me? I straightened my face and asked coldly, and then? A faint laugh came through the line, laced with a tenderness he couldn't hide. Your cheeks were all puffed up, he said. Like a beautiful little squirrel. That was the first time I felt my heart skip a beat. I clicked my tongue, teasing, sure you weren't just hungry? But even as I joked, my heartbeat grew faster and faster. Chris laughed again. I was going to ask for your contact after the session ended, but a friend called me over. By the time I looked back up, you were gone. I never ran into you at Model UN again. Luckily, though, I got hold of your WeChat and sent you several friend requests. You rejected every one. The last time, you wrote in the rejection that you didn't like strangers adding you and asked me not to bother you. After that, I stopped trying. I see, I pursed my lips and admitted, my parents were strict. Back then my mom kept my phone. Chris let out a short oh, still sounding a bit wounded. That day Michael said he'd met a girlfriend online named Jessica. I immediately thought of you but figured it couldn't be. Only when I saw your avatar and screen name the same as 3 years ago did I know for sure. His voice grew lower. I don't even know how to describe my feelings. I was jealous of Michael, but seeing you two chatting so happily also made me glad for you. I'm a bundle of contradictions, wanting you to break up, yet afraid you'd be hurt. Young affection, fierce and unfiltered, tinged with quiet sorrow. I wasn't about to give Chris a chance to sink into emo territory. I changed the subject abruptly. So, that's why you played pilot? Chris blinked, then flustered at once. If you feel offended, I'm sorry. I can explain. Michael said you wanted to see that kind of photo from him. He wanted to send it but hesitated. I didn't want you looking at him, so. I almost burst out laughing. Chris, this guy. Always scheming. I forced my rising smile back down and offered a single, objective comment. Yours is, pretty impressive. Chris choked, paused forever, then stammered, thank you. 2 days later Chris finished summer break and returned to campus. We still hadn't met in person, but that didn't stop us from being glued to each other, even falling asleep while on the phone. Michael was astonished. The Chris he knew was a high mountain flower, cold to everyone, solitary. In the entire year they'd roomed together, the only time Chris had ever spoken to him first was to send him that pilot photo. Before that, they hadn't even been friends. Because of this, Michael felt Chris was reliable, a man of few words but dependable in action. He was even proud of matchmaking us. Wow, you two are sweet all day long. Don't you care if I die alone, he groused over speaker as I packed my suitcase. But it's fine, he added. Once I find her, I'll be off the market too. Then the 4 of us can travel together. Jess, what do you think? Before I could answer, Chris cut in, not happening. Step aside. Baby, what were you about to say? Go on. Chris's switch from icy to tender made my heart go soft. That's exactly the kind of boyfriend I wanted, one full of contrasts, double standards. That's what makes a romance exciting. Feeling warm inside, my voice turned sweeter. I was just going to say I planned to arrive at school a day early to get familiar with the campus. Really? I heard a thud through the phone. Chris had leapt out of bed. A muffled grunt followed. I frowned. Chris? Are you okay? I'm fine, just bumped myself. How are you coming? Are your parents coming too? My mom and dad are overseas right now. They won't be back until after the wedding they're attending. Chris hummed. What time will you arrive tomorrow? I'll pick you up. Oh, what? Jess is coming to our school? Michael suddenly popped up. Whoa, exciting. I'm coming too. Chris snapped, I'm picking up my girlfriend. Why are you tagging along? I don't care. I was the one who set you two up, and Jess is my friend too. A friend comes, I have to meet her. Chris's face went cold. He moved away from Michael, stepped out onto the balcony, and closed the door. His voice softened. Baby, it's up to you. Do you want to see him? Oh my God. He was so good at this, who could resist? Ahem. I caught myself drifting and pulled back to calm. No. I don't want to see him. I just want to see you. The next day my plane landed without a hitch. While waiting in line for my luggage, I texted Chris, I've landed. Are you here yet? He replied almost instantly, As soon as you come out, you'll see me. Baby, we're about to meet. I'm so excited. Kanyukyo? I want to hug you. I smiled at my screen. There are so many people at the airport. Dare you? Why wouldn't I dare? Hugging my own wife, who can complain? Not only will I hug you, I'll kiss you too. My heart gave a strange flutter, filled with secret anticipation and excitement. With my luggage in hand, I pocketed my phone and walked toward the exit. The airport was packed with students returning for the semester, but I spotted Chris instantly. He saw me too. The moment our eyes met, I realized how devastating the real thing was. That height, that face, those proportions, like a 3D model come to life. He stood there in the simplest white t-shirt and jeans, holding a huge bouquet of Juliet roses, staring at me blankly. Even as I approached, he remained frozen. My stomach dropped. That reaction, could it be that he didn't like what he saw? My heart sank. I lowered my gaze, face turning cold, and was about to walk away as if we were strangers. Suddenly, a hand caught my wrist. A familiar voice whispered at my ear, these flowers, they're for you. I lifted my lashes and turned toward him, only for Chris to instantly avert his gaze. Let me carry your suitcase, he muttered. He bent down, revealing only the tips of his ears, already red as if bleeding. My eyes sparkled, and a dimple curved at my cheek. So, he was shy. I accepted the roses and murmured under my breath, didn't you say you'd hug me? Coward. Chris froze. Then, in one abrupt motion, he released the suitcase handle and straightened like a soldier. Arms stiff as a robot's, he reached out, one hand sliding behind my neck, the other settling at my waist, before gently pulling me into his arms. Because of the height difference, my head fit neatly beneath his chin. His heartbeat thundered, fast and erratic, as if someone were pounding a drum inside his chest. Each beat echoed against my own heart. I'm not a coward, he said hoarsely. His arms tightened. Say it again, and I'll kiss you. His warm breath, husky voice brushing my ear, carried a charge that made my skin tingle. People bustled past, casting curious glances. I didn't care. Tilting my face up, I rose on tiptoe and teased with a smile, then kiss me. Chris's breath caught. His throat bobbed in a hard swallow. He leaned down, only to be interrupted by a loud voice from behind. Damn, I'm exhausted. Chris, you're not loyal. How could you ditch me and come to pick Jess up alone? We both froze. A moment later, warmth pressed against my lips, then a large hand covered my head and tucked it firmly into his chest. Well, Michael drawled as he strolled closer, grin wide. Looks like you two are pretty satisfied with each other. Jess, I'm Michael. Finally, we meet. I tried to move my head, but Chris pressed me right back against him. What, seriously? You're going to shield her like this? I can't even get a look. Michael complained. No, Chris's voice was cold and sharp. She's my girlfriend. Michael chuckled, swearing under his breath. Yeah, like I'd try to steal her from you. Fine. Forget it. Brothers before, well, not anymore, I guess. I'm out of here. But while he talked, his eyes clung stubbornly to me. What are you staring at? Leave, Chris snapped, his expression dropping into a glacial glare. Michael scowled inwardly. Like a damn guard dog. Chris had brushed him off again, and his temper simmered hot. Still, he hadn't expected Jessica's figure to be this good, those long, pale legs. What did she actually look like? Even if she was pretty, she couldn't possibly compare to that girl. Thinking this, Michael felt a little better. He didn't push further, and stalked off without another word. Since formal registration wasn't until tomorrow, I had to stay at a hotel that night. The ones near campus weren't particularly fancy, but at least they were clean. Chris came with me to check in. The receptionist assumed we were staying together. "Sir, may I see your ID for registration?" I quickly cut in. "He's not staying. Just me." The receptionist glanced from me to him, a knowing smirk playing at her lips. "Understood." Chris and I exchanged a wordless look, then both looked away. TSK. With the atmosphere like this, it almost felt like if we didn't do something, the misunderstanding would go to waste. I shook my head to scatter the intrusive thought and let Chris tug me along to the room. Inside, he checked for hidden cameras first. Once satisfied it was safe, he pulled out disposable sheets and covers. I stood by, stealing glances at his profile. That nose bridge, so straight and high. Plastic surgery? Surely not. And his jawline, had he gotten skin tightening done? There wasn't the faintest mark. I marveled silently. To think someone could look like this in real life. And he was my boyfriend. Heh. I was amazing. Just as I was admiring him, Chris suddenly turned. Caught ogling, I flinched. What is it? He stared at me steadily, as if holding something back. I looked at the bed, then at him. Dirty thoughts I'd just shoved down came surging back, and my face flushed. "You, have something you want to say?" He glanced at me, murmured a low and after finishing the bed, walked over to hook his pinky around mine. My breath caught. Was it happening? Really happening? Chris leaned closer. My heartbeat spun out of control, my breathing grew uneven. The air between us thickened with unspoken heat. Eyes locked, emotions swirling, he finally spoke. "If Michael found out you were the girl he's been searching for, if he came back to pursue you, would you leave me?" I blinked. That was it? He'd been brooding over this? No wonder he'd clutched me so tightly at the airport, he was afraid I'd fall for Michael. Honestly, it was like sitting down to a banquet feast, stomach ready, and then having someone ask if you'd rather eat a lump of dog crap on the roadside. Instant turn off, thanks. I sighed. But Chris mistook it for confirmation. He crushed me against him, murmuring desperately, "Wifey, you've seen every part of me now. You have to take responsibility." The heat of his breath against my neck scorched my skin. I couldn't help laughing softly, letting my hands wander over his muscles. "Don't worry. I'll take responsibility." His grip loosened. He cupped my face, eyes searching. "Really?" I looked into his dark eyes, my smile deepening. "Of course." Relief swept across his features. He pressed his forehead to mine, nose brushing gently against me. "Hungry? I'll take you to dinner." Before I could reply, the doorbell rang. I chuckled. "No need. I ordered delivery, it's here." Slipping out of his arms, I tugged him toward the door. "I ordered some local specialties. Your favorite sesame lamb, Anne." But the moment I opened the door, the words stuck in my throat. Michael stood there, panting, eyes burning into me like searing iron. "You're Jessica. It's you. I found you." A near foolish grin split his face, then, catching sight of Chris behind me, his gaze turned instantly ice cold. Michael braced a hand against the door, his eyes like knives cutting into Chris. "Jessica is mine, she." "Michael." Chris's voice snapped sharp, rising in volume. He gave a cold, mocking laugh. "What nonsense are you spouting in broad daylight? Jess is my girlfriend. You introduced her to me, remember?" "I didn't know she was." Michael broke off, teeth grinding as he glared at Chris, cursing under his breath. He raked his hand hard through his hair. "Chris, I treated you like a brother. What do you take me for? You knew all along the person I was searching for was Jess, and you kept silent. If it hadn't been for that photo of you two in a hotel room, taken by our classmates, I swear, how much longer were you planning to hide it?" The more he spoke, the more agitated he became. He pulled a cigarette box from his pocket, then, seeing me, shoved it back in. "I'll cut to the chase," Michael growled. "Give Jess back to me, and I'll pretend none of this ever happened." "Did you ask my girlfriend what she thinks? Did you ask me?" Our voices overlapped. A spark of joy flickered inside me. "Sorry, but that kind of perfect harmony just doesn't lie." I took Chris's hand and stepped in front of Michael. His eyes softened as he gazed at me. "Jess, I raised my hand, cutting him off. "Michael, grow up. You and I are long over. I have a boyfriend now. And for the record, I don't have a fetish for being someone's dog." Michael's face blanched, panic flashing through him. I wasn't interested in arguing further. I pulled out my phone. I don't want my boyfriend to misunderstand. And I don't want us pretending to be friends anymore either. Let's delete each other. "No." Michael stepped forward, throat tight. Don't delete me, I beg you. But I'd already pressed the red button. He stared, stunned, as his name vanished from my contacts. His eyes reddened instantly. Jess, I mean it. I really, really like you. You son of a... Chris lunged forward, grabbing Michael by the collar. He'd held himself back long enough. If not for his own self-control, he would never have let Michael spew so much garbage. Chris's fist trembled, ready to strike. I rushed in, pulling him back. He looked at me. I shook my head firmly. Chris pressed his lips together, silent, and finally released his grip. Michael thought I was protecting him. His eyes lit up with hope. Jess, I knew you couldn't bear to. I just don't want my boyfriend's hands dirted. That's all. I've said what I need to. If you keep pestering me, I'll call the police. My face hardened, my expression sharp with disgust. The smile froze on Michael's lips. His shoulders collapsed. He stared at me in silence, biting his lip in reluctant fury. Then, shooting Chris one last venomous glare, he stormed away. On registration day, my picture appeared on the campus confession wall. Chris saw it a few days later and nearly lost his mind with jealousy. He left a comment right beneath, "Sorry, she's my wifey. Don't bother trying." P.S. Attaching a couple photo. Only after posting did he glance at me and ask, "Baby, you don't mind me going public, do you?" I narrowed my eyes. I'd realized something. Chris wasn't just scheming, he was a total little green tea act. Ever since we confirmed our relationship, he'd been secretly showing off, changing avatars, switching cover photos, dressing up his feed like it was his personal showcase. Childish. But, what could I say? He was too handsome. I was happy to indulge him. Still, a little payback was in order. I hid a mischievous smile, put on a straight face, and said, "You didn't even ask me first. Acting on your own, I'm not happy." Chris's lashes dropped. "I'm sorry. Seeing all those guys confessing under your photo made me feel awful. I lost my head and said what I did. I won't do it again. Please, don't be upset." I nearly burst out laughing. Clearing my throat, I said, "If you want me happy, it's simple." Chris's eyes lit up. "What should I do?" I arched a brow, leaned close to his ear, and whispered, "Hey, that photo of yours, are you sure it wasn't photoshopped? I still don't believe humans can look like that. Show me the real thing." Chris froze. When the meaning hit, his entire face flamed. "Right now?" I nodded. "Yes. Right now." His lashes trembled. "Baby, you're so direct. TSK. Are you going to or not?" "Yes, yes, yes." He fumbled out his phone. "I'll book a hotel." My lips twitched, eyes sliding down. And there it was, without us having done a thing, the flag had already risen. Hotel room. Once inside, Chris finally released the hand he'd been using to shield himself. The whole way here, he'd been mortified, trying to act calm, his pride as a young man towering higher than the sky. I didn't call him out, just pretended not to notice. I was about to step further in when he suddenly pulled me back into his arms. His face buried against my neck, voice muffled. "Baby, I like you so much. So much." I sighed helplessly. "I know. But could you not rub against me like that?" It was like being poked with a rolling pin, painful. Chris's body stiffened. Realization hit, and he let go abruptly, stepping back. "Sorry. I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help it. Do you still want to see?" I turned toward him, tilting my chin high. "Of course." Even as I spoke, heat rushed into my face. I coughed. "But, close your eyes." "Oh. Okay." Chris obeyed, lashes lowering, though his breathing grew heavier. Not that I was calm either. First time meeting Chris's little brother in person, I was nervous as hell. I drew a deep breath, hooked my fingers at his belt. Chris jolted instantly, trembling. The room went utterly silent. All I could hear were our ragged breaths. Even with the air conditioning running cold, sweat slicked his skin. Droplets slid from his abs, tracing down to his V-lines, shimmering under the warm yellow light. I bit my lip, poked his muscles with one finger. Each jab made him shudder with a husky groan. Baby, can I open my eyes now?" His jaw was tight, throat bobbing hard. I didn't tease him further. Tugging at his waistband, I stole a quick glance, then let go. The next second, I was yanked into a searing embrace. "Don't be afraid. Just let me hold you. Just for a moment." Chris was a liar. He'd said, just for a moment, but half an hour had passed and he still hadn't let go. I pushed at him. "If you really have to hug me, at least do it on the bed, okay?" Chris froze. "Really? My legs are just numb, don't get the wrong idea." Before I could finish, I was suddenly lifted into the air. He carefully laid me down on the bed and pressed a kiss to my cheek. Then, with gentle hands, he massaged my calf. "Don't worry, I didn't misunderstand. I promise, I won't do anything without your consent." I pressed my lips together, then extended my other leg. That's more like it. That night, Chris and I fell asleep in each other's arms. Sometime in the middle of the night, a noise pulled me from my dreams. I frowned and rolled over. My hand brushed against something, then came Chris's strangled groan. Startled, I opened my eyes. My pupils widened instantly. Chris was biting the hem of my shirt, a thermos clutched in one hand. He stared at me, dazed. Within a heartbeat, he dropped the fabric, panic flashing across his face. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm awful. I couldn't stand it, I couldn't sleep, so I silenced him with my lips. God. Did Chris even realize how utterly criminal he looked just now? Was I someone capable of resisting temptation? Absolutely not. With beauty so close at hand, even 1 second of hesitation would be an insult to the dopamine flooding my brain. Forget it, I was going to devour him first. 2 hours later. My weak arms braced against his chest. I'm thirsty. Move, I need water. Chris read my thoughts instantly. He caught my hand, pressed it to his lips. Call me husband, and I'll let you drink. Okay, baby? His black eyes glowed with wicked charm. My voice came out small. Who, husband? Chris's pupils tightened. He swept me up with a surge of strength. Good girl. Your husband will carry you to drink. Once the semester officially began, classes swallowed my time, and I saw Chris less and less. Every time he walked me back to my dorm, he lingered forever before leaving. My roommate rolled her eyes. You two see each other every day. Who are you putting on this tragic farewell act for? It wasn't the first time she'd taken a jab at me. Ever since she'd become Michael's girlfriend, she'd looked at me with nothing but spite. I wasn't one to take it lying down. Sorry, my boyfriend's just clingy. Not like yours, who gives you the cold shoulder every other day. You. Her face drained pale with fury, but she couldn't come up with a retort. I ignored her, climbed onto my bed, and messaged Chris. No need to keep looking for another place. Yesterday's one will do. I want to move out soon. He replied quickly, at your command, my lady wifey. On moving day, Michael ambushed me. On the crowded tree-lined path, he dragged me off in front of everyone, shoving me behind the library's artificial rock garden. Trapped in the cramped space, I struggled to break free but failed. He panted heavily, eyes feral, like he might devour me whole. I forced myself to stay calm, lifted my chin, and met his gaze. My voice was steady. If you have something to say, let go first. Michael's lips twitched, but his grip only tightened. You're moving in with Chris, aren't you? The hell? What business of his was that? With what right did he interrogate me? I frowned, knowing it was the worst time to provoke him, so I pressed my lips together and stayed silent. That only made him more frantic. Why? Why did you choose him? Michael's eyes reddened. I'm not worse than he is. He stared at me like a starving wolf. At some point, a chain appeared in his hand. My heart lurched. The next moment, he looped it around his own neck and shoved the end toward me. I'll be good. Please, just look at me. I won't interfere with you two, just treat me like a dog. Please, master. I froze, horrified, goosebumps prickling my skin. And still he thought it wasn't enough. He tore open his shirt, revealing sharp-cut abs. Doesn't master like good bodies best? I've been training for months. Look, are you satisfied? What? The actual hell? He was completely unhinged. I forced myself to stay composed. If I rejected him now, who knew what he'd do? Best to placate him first. Swallowing my disgust, I reached for the chain. Suddenly, the weight holding me vanished. Michael was sent sprawling to the side, Chris's fist smashing into his face, his chest, his groin. Blow after blow rained down until even his knuckles split open. He looked like he'd lost all reason. Heart aching, I threw my arms around him from behind. Stop. I'm okay. I'm fine. Chris froze, then slowly calmed. He rose and pulled me into a crushing embrace, muttering sorry over and over again. Regret burned in his eyes. If he hadn't been delayed setting up the apartment, he would have arrived sooner. None of this would have happened. The police came quickly. Michael was sent to the hospital first, then taken away for questioning. The fallout was severe. The school eventually issued a public statement. Michael was expelled. I only learned much later that before leaving, he'd gone everywhere asking about me. But Chris never let him appear in my life again. Extra story. 6 years later. That night, I stepped out of the shower and warmed a cup of milk for our little one. As I reached his bedroom door, I heard him say, when I grow up, I'll be brave like Daddy. I'll fight off the bad guys and protect Mommy. No, came the adult's stern reply, a finger wagging. Mommy already has Daddy to protect her. You'll have someone else you need to protect. But, Leon, stop trying to steal Mommy from me. Or else I'll beat you. I couldn't help laughing softly. Him, after all these years, he was still just as childish.